And we are back. Welcome, everybody, with another episode of Light the Torch Podcast. I'm your host, B. Jones, and I got my boys with me. To the bottom right, we got Guns, a.k.a. Gunner, a.k.a. Views from the Stands. Make sure you go check him out right here on YouTube and on Spotify. To the left of him, we got my boy Raul. Catch him in these LA streets. Still chasing damn coaches. No, I got Raul, man. Don't forget the legendary Mr. Trojan famous, Mr. Brisket King over here. None other than our guy Blackie Chan, man.
AKA Jackie Chan.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a lot to get into today, fellas. It's a lot going on, man, in the world of college football. But before we get to that, we have to give a little shout out to our basketball programs, man.
One more than the other.
What's that?
One a little bit more than the other.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the men couldn't get it done today against Arizona. I mean, it's hard to beat the same team twice, especially an opponent as good as Arizona.
Yeah.
And it's just it all caught up with us, man. Looked a little fatigued out there. Struggled during the first half shooting. I believe Shotgun reported they were 23.6% in the first half. It's kind of hard to win that way.
Yeah.
It was,
Greatest rebounding.
it was a rough first half, but it was a disappointing season overall, right? We had a lot bigger expectations for the men's basketball team. Unfortunately, it didn't go in the right direction or in the direction we all thought it would.
Yeah.
But they did face a lot of injuries this year, and towards the end of the season, it looked like they made some progress. So, had they been healthy throughout the season, I think, they probably sneak into the dance. But unfortunately, they fell short. But they gave it a run, so that's all we can ask for of this team this late in the season. At least they give it a shot and move on to next year. Whether Enfield stays or goes, to be determined. But he definitely didn't look good this year.
Yeah,
Do you think Collier's gone?
No, I don't
I can
think
see
so.
that. I can see it happening.
It depends.
He's been projected first round this whole year, so I think.
But
I
if he
think he will.
stays, I think if he stays a year and performs, he'll definitely play himself into a lottery pick. I don't know if he's a lottery pick right now. I think he didn't perform
Probably
well this
fringe.
year that he, play himself out of that lottery pick.
I agree.
Right. Yeah, he was hurt too. So yeah, no matter if you're not on the court, it's gonna hurt your stock. So, from what I heard though, Enfield is slated to stay. Don't think Mama Jen's gonna make a decision there. We'll see. Could change of heart, but obviously his seat is gonna be very hot this next season, especially the first year of Big Ten. So,
Yeah.
we'll see. But yeah, I mean, just shout out to the boys. They fought hard. Sucks with the injuries, but we saw a little bit of the potential. That this last couple weeks, month, it was kind of fun to see. So,
But then we have our women's basketball. Aren't they number 3 in the nation right now? Third in the nation. Juju's going to is basically now the face of women's college basketball right now. So
Yeah, I mean, her, Caitlin Clark, of course, injuries are still around.
has she declared?
Who?
Angel?
yeah, sounds like she is. She did the whole senior thing, and
Yeah.
I saw a press conference, and it sounded like just the way she was speaking. So I don't know if she did it fully announce it, but
Yeah.
Sounds
Caitlin's
like
already announced. That girl from Stanford announced.
Yep. I mean, Juju ended up. I don't know if it was last week or this week, but it was announced that she got the Freshman of the Year award, right?
Yeah.
Listen,
Freshman of the year.
if Juju stays all 4 years, all of Caitlin Clark's records are bye-bye.
Yeah.
So that's for sure. That's a fact. So we'll see what happens there. I got a question to you guys regarding the men. Where do you think Boogie Ellis lands in the draft?
Do you think he's a first rounder?
Who? Boogie?
Yeah, let's
I don't even know if he gets drafted. To be quite frank with you,
second rounder.
if he gets drafted, he gets picked somewhere in the second round. But I think the reason why he came back this year was because he wasn't projected to get drafted, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. I haven't looked at any mock drafts, but
Does Brownie get drafted if he enters? That's the question.
second round, if anything.
But does he get drafted by the Lakers?
Do I think that he should be drafted? No, absolutely not. He's not earned that.
He needs another year or two.
Okay,
like
so real quick, sorry to jump in. So looked at a mock draft right now. So Isaiah, he's projected to go 15 right now. Let's see, anyone else from USC in the first 2 rounds? Yeah, they don't have anyone else at USC, so it sounds like they're projected Boogie to be undrafted right now.
Yeah,
Well, he has to. Like, this is his final year, right?
yeah, this is his last year. So, I mean, hopefully he gets drafted, and if he doesn't, hopefully he can make a team like during summer league and he performs. But he definitely underperformed this year, and I definitely had a lot higher expectations for Boogie this year. I thought he was going to kill it, being that, with all the experience and just the team in general, I thought they underperformed. And, a good part of that is coaching. I mean, coaching kind of let them down. And hopefully they can get it together for next year because, kind of like you guys alluded to, it's the first year of the Big Ten. And they got good teams out there. So, we got to show up.
Yep.
Facts.
And then regarding Bronny, I mean, the kid has talent, but he can definitely, he definitely needs more seasoning before he enters the league. If he does enter the league, I guess good for him, but I think it would make him wonder staying at least an additional year at USC and getting some more experience and just potentially, playing himself into a first-round pick.
And then lastly, I mean, just be prepared for Trent Perry, guard out of California. He's been a baller in high school, so I've been hearing some really good things about this kid. So I'm excited about him.
Do you think if they were to get rid of Enfield, do you think they would go after Louisville's head coach that just got fired?
No, I don't.
I don't know. I don't know.
haven't
Did
paid
you see his
attention
press
to any-
conference? That's all I have to say. Did you see his press conference?
No.
He was like basically saying like he's looking forward to seeing like the players, which ones are gonna jump on or jump off the Titanic. Basically saying like I don't know. I guess he didn't know what the Titanic is, right? The Titanic is a sinking ship.
Okay.
So yeah, it was pretty bad. Pretty bad.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't think Mama Jen wants that.
No.
If he's putting those type of interviews out there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Whoever they get, if they get rid of Enfield, I don't know where I heard it, but they said that it might have been you, Gunner. You said that you don't see him getting fired this year. Right, but
It's one season.
Yeah, I believe one of the 247 media people mentioned it in their website.
But yeah, going back to the women's basketball, if they don't get a number one seed, I don't know what the committee's thinking. They have the resume for it, and they just beat the number 2 ranked team in the nation twice, not just once but twice.
Yep.
So
They beat Ohio State at the beginning of the year. They beat
them.
Colorado. They beat Colorado. They beat Oregon State.
UCLA.
5 teams. Yep.
Resume, man. The resume is there.
Yeah, I think top 10. I think they're like, or top 25. They're 8-4, and then top 10. I think they're like
The Pac-12 literally.
I gotta look at the schedule, but
And then ESPN had us as one of the teams to potentially win the Natty. So very exciting stuff. It's gonna be cool to see Juju and the girls. I think what the coolest thing is you're starting to see the other players more, right, as well, like their game improve as well. It's obviously Juju's a star, but you're starting to see the role players. And then we've been talking about this in the past, that the class for next year, man. This class and Juju, it's going to be pretty fun.
3 All-Americans.
Yeah, and I got the I guess the stats for versus the top 25. USC's 8-4 versus the top 25, and then versus top 10, they're 4-1, and that beats anybody's record. That even I guess aside from South Carolina, that which they're 5-0 versus top 25 and 4-0 versus top 10, but aside from them, USC has a better resume than anyone else in the country, including Iowa.
So we do not get the number 1 seed going into this tournament. That would definitely be robbery.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, we pretty much know what that's about.
We riot.
So
Yeah, I want to see a little USC versus a real USC women's final.
That'll be a game. Cardoso is a lot to deal with. It's a big girl, man.
Especially since Juju was thinking about going to South Carolina too, so that'd be dope just seeing that matchup with Dawn Staley.
Mm-hmm.
Did not know that. All right, we're good to move on from basketball talk.
Yep, let's get into some football stuff. Let's go segue.
We have another thing though to talk about. Nick Saban's NIL comments.
So my whole thing, I'm not going to go on a rant, guys. I'm going to go on a rant, guys. Stated
We'll see about that.
Nick Saban so many times on this show, but I don't disagree with anything he said. It's not what he said; it's just the fact that he's saying it. It's just like, I'm tired of this dude just being a hypocrite, man. He just acts like as if the rest of the world doesn't know how you got to where you are. We all know. Nick, just stop. Just stop. Just cut it out, man. I don't know, man. What you guys' thoughts on that? That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see both sides, right? I mean, we all know that they had a bad guy there, a bag guy that was, dropping the bags for these kids before NIL, and that's how he was able to get these top players. But at the same time, NIL is getting a little more crazier than maybe the past, and there does need to be some rules in place. So hopefully his whining and crying can definitely help us. If not, yeah, I mean, this guy deserves more hate, I guess you could say, towards what he's saying.
I like how he threw his wife under the bus too. Like, as they were recruiting, she's like, "What are we doing? They're just here to see how much money you're going to pay them." Like, damn, you're going to really put your wife into all this too? Because that's like, it's okay for her to say that because she's not like a head coach or whatever, and she's just she's his wife or whatever. She's not really too much involved into it, but then just for him to like agree with it and be like, "Huh, yeah," like, now it's not like college football is not what is like. That's legit. Like, people can be like, "Okay, boomer," to that statement that he just said. That's like the most boomer-esque statement you could have. Like you have adapted to college football so much, but then this one thing you refuse to adapt to.
Well, he's losing control. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, basically, what he's trying to say is like, "Oh, I lost all my advantage. It's time for me to hang it up. I don't want to get exposed." And I know I don't want to sound too crazy here because he is a goat of coaches in college football for his resume and what he's done. But kind of like what B. Jones stated earlier, it's like, we all know that you weren't playing fair by the rules, and now the playing field's leveled, now you want to cry about it. Like, don't say anything at this point. Just let it be and just enjoy your retirement.
Yep.
And then that's that.
I guess my question, like the whole thing with the Congress, whatever they were doing, did the Calvin Turd twins even like speak? So I mean, obviously all we heard was Nick Saban in terms of the media. But did they even like talk or something?
I don't know. Nobody's talking about them at all.
Right, yeah.
I have no clue.
I mean, it's like why bring them if they're not going to talk? I don't know. It's just interesting.
I really don't understand like who appointed them the voices.
But I am for them imposing some type of regulations or rules that isn't just about dropping the biggest bag. Like keep it to what NIL was intended to be, like
Exactly.
some type of actual deals or brand deals and stuff like that.
Yeah, be like the NFL. Have a cap on some shit. Come on.
Something. And if they do that, it favors USC because USC is not dropping backs like all these other schools that I'm not going to mention today. Don't want to give them any free publicity. But yeah, I mean, hopefully they do put regulations, and I think if they do that, USC it'll be in a really great spot just because of LA and all the marketability out here. So hopefully they do.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like based off our 80s interview that she had with Ryan and those guys at 247. It sounded like there was supposed to be some kind of legislation, taking place this summer. That's what she was anticipating that. But then, we got the all NIL talks are suspended early. So I don't know, man. I don't know how we're gonna adjust. We'll see. But I mean, either way, USC itself is set up to go either way. If we decided to play that game, we're primed to play that game. It's just a matter of
like either way, we're set up for it. But will we do what we need to do if it's open season?
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's just whether we decide to play or not.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully they are. It doesn't seem like it though, but it sucks. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, we're top 5 in real NIL. So if you want that real stuff, come over.
Yep.
What else? What else is going on in the college football? Oh, yeah, we have college football playoffs will be moving to a 14-team playoff in 2026. What do you guys think about that?
Like I said earlier, guys, I'm not gonna bash it until I see it. At least I got to see how this year goes. At least I can give some kind of, idea of how a 14 would go.
Right. But see, the thing about it is, what's stupid? They made this decision without seeing how a 12-team playoff is going to do this year.
Yeah.
Why? Why are you already looking ahead 2 years later? Like, oh wait, it's probably not going to work. So let's do it in 2 years. We'll move to 14, and you know what? Why not? We'll just move to 20-team playoff in 2028 because we don't know what's going to happen. Why are they making these premature decisions?
Yeah, I know. Big Ten and SEC really were pushing for this. So, to me, if we're going to a 14, it sounds like we're on the good side of this. More options and more slots for us.
And I get that, but it's just like at this point, you might as well make the whole top 25 playoff.
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be wild.
I'm not a fan of it just because, it kind of takes away from a lot of the tradition of college football. Like, you have to be the top 2, right, before to make it there. Now, like, they went from 2 to 4, now to 12, and then going to 14, it kind of takes away some of that regular season hype where now you don't have to go undefeated to make it. And I mean, football is not the same as basketball, right? Super physical. So I don't know how it'll impact players, or by the time a certain team makes it to the national championship, if they'll suffer a few injuries because of the additional 2 or 3 games that they may play.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to look, but I'm assuming it's at least one additional game when they move to 14.
Right. I mean, that's a good point, Raul. I mean, I know it's not college football, but Fletcher Cox, one of the reasons why he just retires because he mentioned the longer season in the NFL. Like he felt it the Week 17 game versus what he was used to, and so I mean I'm sure some of these kids they're gonna feel the difference,
With
and it could impact them for NFL, right? Could have shorter NFL careers as well.
Yeah. Like honestly, like if we move to a 14-team playoff, you could be 9 and whatever at this point. Like you are diminishing some of the importance of some of the games that are going to be that are being played, of course. But like honestly, do you think that the 14th seed is going to legitimately beat a top 5 team? I mean, maybe, but it just doesn't.
We
I
don't
mean,
know.
anything could happen, but
Game was played
that's
on
but that's what I'm saying. Like,
I get it,
but like that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, why punish like a top 5 team, and they may just get unlucky and have a terrible game, and then they lose it all because of that one game. Like I said, it's not the same as basketball. Basketball, you can play a lot more games. It's not as severe where you don't get injuries as much. And with football, like I don't know, like it's hard to go through a whole season without suffering any major injuries, and just adding 2 or 3 more games. You know, I just feel like more injuries are bound to happen at that point, just being that the body's already probably like at 70% by the time they hit the national championship game.
Oh yeah,
I would say the cool part is that the first round is like at their at the school, so I think that would be cool. You know, like just imagine USC hosting a playoff game. That'd be sick.
Yeah. It just like from what a lot of people were saying is like with this whole new process that we're going to be seeing some players like sitting out into the playoffs. If they've pretty much guaranteed themselves to be in the playoffs or whatever, they're going to probably sit out a game or two. Like say if you're undefeated or whatever, or like lost one game, you may not see your star players, which I get you wouldn't want to see them in like the last 2 games of the season.
Okay, so
that's a good point.
I mean, I feel like the fact that we don't have to, we could drop a game and still not be out of the natty. You know what I mean? That's one thing I like about it. We still have a shot at it. We could be a 3-point loss, you know, to a team that we could have beat, that we know we could beat any other Saturday. You know what I mean? But they got the best of us this game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not out the natty, so I like that.
But they could have made that a top 10 teams make it to the playoffs rather than going to 14. Like 14, you can lose like 3 games and still be top 14.
Like how is it going to even work? I mean, I don't know if they even said it, but like if it's 14 seeds, do like the first 2 teams get like a bye, or there's no byes at all?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the first 4 get a bye. I think it's very similar to the 12. It's just 2 more teams. I think still the first 4 is a bye. And I think, you know, 1 G5 is still one of them. The rest are out-larges and the conference champions.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm liking it. I'm liking it because that 14 seed. All right, let's just be honest, right? We know that a certain conference likes to always have some teams that's a little overrated, right? At least in the bottom half of their teams are overrated. Now those teams are going to get exposed. You know what I'm saying? In the playoffs when they actually have to face somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I'm not totally against this. Yeah, like I said, I gotta see how it plays out, man, before I make it real. But yeah, it has some advantages that I like.
I just think it's dumb that they already decided to switch it to 14 in 2 years without seeing how a 12-team playoff already works.
Yeah, I think they jumped the gun first. I mean, we just started with the 12. Oh, we haven't even started with 12.
Yeah, we don't know how it's gonna work.
Yeah.
I think 12 team is like the sweet spot in a sense or whatever. It's not like half of the teams in the top 25, but it's a little bit less than half of the top 10 or top 25. So, but we'll see. All right. You guys you ready to move on from there?
Yep.
All right. So we're going to talk about the top 5 storylines in USC spring. Why did I say playoffs? I meant to say practice.
Spring playoffs. That's new.
Yeah.
They moved playoffs to the spring now. No, but yeah, man, we got some interesting storylines for you guys, man.
I guess, and then for those in the chat, what do you guys think? Do you guys like the 14-team playoff? Put it in the chat if you guys like it or not.
Yeah, Lucky, can you make a quick poll on that?
Let's see.
Make it real simple. But yeah, yes, definitely some interesting storylines for us, for our Trojans, man. Not just position battles, just all eyes are on a few. There's a few things that we all need to be looking for going into the spring camp. Dr. Chan, you want to go ahead and read them off?
Which one do you want me to do? Do you want me to do a poll first, or do you want me to?
I mean, we can do the poll, and then, but like going, if you highlight a USC priorities comment, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, you know, it takes a lot of the hype during the regular season, and it makes the games less. I guess I don't know if the word is less interesting or not, but it just kills some of the hype behind the game, the importance. Because if you lose a game, you're still going to be guaranteed a playoff spot if you have if you're already in the top 10 or whatnot.
Yeah, but if you drop a couple, then you're right back in that same situation. You know? So I get it. It's positive.
Right. The poll is up, everyone.
Right.
Poll: do you like the new 14-team playoff format?
All right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show.
All right.
Then go ahead and read off some of those. Start with the first one.
One of the first storylines that we should talk about is Josh Henson. Is this there's been so much talk about how he is a good offensive coach or offensive line coach, but the past couple years have said differently. And there's a player that's in the portal right now that we have yet, from what we understand, that they have yet to reach out to, who is an all-conference offensive tackle. And why has he not at least been on camp or been even offered by USC? What's the holdup? And there was the mutual interest that there was rumors that he is mutually interested in USC. He's mutually interested in. We're mutually interested in him too. What's the holdup? What do you guys think?
The only thing that I could even think of is that they didn't care for his character. That's usually the case in those situations. That's something that we haven't talked about or dug into, but that's the only explanation that I could think of, because it's definitely disheartening to see, though. Because I'm not completely comfortable. We mentioned it here on the show many times that offensive line has some guys that will be great. We will be good. I say next year, those young guys are going to be ready to go. You know what I mean? We've done some good recruiting over the past 2 years, so you can't take that away from Josh Henson. He's done that.
Yeah.
But we definitely cannot afford to go into this season the same way we did last season. With question marks on the offensive line. So we thought for sure that, like Blackie Chen mentioned, there's a guy who
What's his name?
That there was mutual interest, but we're seeing this guy taking visits everywhere else, and there's no smoke thrown this way at all, So it's kind of disheartening to see. But so my question to everyone is, if we do, just God forbid, if we do have these same glaring issues that we did last year, because we gotta be honest, there's a lot to blame on Grinch. Grinch was the scapegoat, though, but the offense was not clicking like it should, and a lot of it was because of O-line. who's overall responsible for the offensive line? Coach Josh Henson. Now, we're not saying this to throw him on the hot seat, but we're just calling it like it is. You know what I mean? We're not calling for anybody's job. You know, we're just calling it like it is. It's just time for us, the Trojan family, to start holding this man accountable.
Yeah. Marcus Bryant.
Yeah. Yeah, because
He's been in the portal since
go into
the 20th of February, and it's already almost a month since he's entered the portal.
Yeah.
But see, my question is, like, has he gone to other schools? Like, do we know if he's had any other visits?
Yeah, he's only got visits lined up. I'm not sure when those dates were exactly in my head, but I know he's got like 2 or 3. I know there was a dead period, right? So obviously there's that factor in terms of the communications, but still, I mean, you would think this is somebody first day or second of non-dead period. I'd call this guy and be like, hey, let's schedule a visit and let's get this going. So yeah, he definitely needs to produce a better line. I'm hoping someone other than Jonah now becomes the center and we can maybe move him back to tackle, because if we do not get a tackle, it's going to be some interesting times on Saturdays for us, I think, against some of these teams.
So Fred over here is, I'm hoping Murphy takes charge of that right tackle spot and holds it down, since we have not signed any O-line in the portal. I don't know if I want Murphy there. Mason Murphy at right tackle. I know he played. That was pretty much where he played all last year. But what do you guys think of Mason Murphy being the full-time right tackle for us?
So I'll say that we're not at practices. You know, we don't really get practice reports anymore, so we don't really know who's looking like what. You know what I mean? So just like with Elijah Page, no one saw that coming. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say I didn't see it coming. I just didn't think it'd be.
Not that soon.
Huh?
So no, not that soon.
Yeah.
You know.
But I don't know. Like, yeah, Josh Henson, he is recruited, and like we can see that what is it called, Elijah Page has really grown into the positions, or at least grown into what our future starter right now, based off what we saw against Louisville. But it's just he needs to put it all together in one cohesive line, rather than just like bits and pieces of different players.
My biggest concern is, man, we just can't afford to just having all these changes on the offensive line this season. You know, especially game 1 being against LSU, a nationally televised game.
Yeah. And we don't have the pleasure of having Caleb Williams being able to escape like he did a lot. Like Miller Moss is a more stationary target than anything.
Yep. Because if we're being honest, I mean, he had to pressure well at Louisville. You know what I mean? But if we're being honest, Caleb accounted for a lot of the offensive line's mistakes. You know, his capability. You know,
definitely what it's called hit some of the issues.
Right. So we don't have that anymore. So if it's anything like last year, we're wrong. You know, if it looks anything like last year, Coach Jensen, you better get.
But
yeah, I would say maybe Miller somehow in a way helps the O-line since he's got a quick release, right? He gets that ball out. He's not going to, like we were just talking about with Caleb, he's not going to move around.
That is true.
Maybe that in a way can help the O-line as well. They don't have to block as much.
They don't have to try to hold a block for 7-8 seconds while Miller is trying to find someone downfield. He will take the check down. So that does make sense as well. Like they don't have to like be looking over their shoulder like, where's Caleb at now?
Right. Back to some priorities. Coaches seem to be comfortable with what they have. Yes, but that's what scares me, because they did the same thing last year, right? They felt confident. what they had last year.
Yeah.
So,
So
you know,
going back to what you said earlier, B Jones, Henson better get it together this year because if not, he'll definitely be in the hot seat. Because someone posted on there that 2022 was a great year for Henson. Yes, but it wasn't his line. It was all the seniors that we had that were experienced veterans, and that's the reason why we performed well that 2022 year. 2023, when most of the guys that were playing there were his guys, we didn't perform at all. So this year, kind of like you guys alluded to, it might be a make it or break it year for Henson, and if he doesn't perform, I can definitely potentially see him, getting the boot if he performs terrible. And he doesn't. And on top of that, he's not recruiting well in terms of O line this year. I guess he got sent. What's his name? The freshman center that we're getting. Yeah, but aside from them, it's not like we're killing it on the O line recruiting, are we? Like, I mean, we're getting a few players that are like solid, but I'm saying we're not getting like top offensive linemen or high ranked offensive linemen. I mean,
Last year, we were more, I would say, focusing on the defensive side of the ball rather than the offensive line because we did really well in the 2023 recruiting class. So this year, I felt like it kind of was more on the defensive side than anything.
I can say without.
You still got to get 2 or 3 players a class, I think, for O line in general because of, it's 5 positions, right? So I am concerned about the recruiting, especially this future 2025. Just seems like there's some people out there who we should be able to get. And the DeAndre Carter is kind of a good example. Seemed like he was somebody set in stone. Maybe it was more on him, but I don't know. I just feel like he could have done better to get him to be with us.
And honestly, looking at the class that we have from the 2025, it's not the worst. Like Hayden Trader is definitely going to be great. I think he's going to be really good. Who else?
And then I guess to rephrase my wording, kind of like I mentioned earlier, it's not that he's doing terrible recruiting, but I feel like USC could do a lot better in terms of the players that we're getting in terms of like higher ranked and more potential. Like the players that he's getting could ultimately end up being All-Americans if he develops them. And but they're lower ranked players, right? Like 3-star, low 3-stars. On a good amount of them are low 3-stars. And I know that we shouldn't look at rankings and we should trust the what is it? What you're saying, B. Jones? Look at film.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying too, man. But I'm not concerned about recruiting for that reason. If you look at the guys that he's brought in, man, they're going to be guys. They're developmental guys, right? With a lot of potential, a lot of size, stuff that you can't teach. The intangibles. And you got guys that are just wildly underrated, like a Hayden Trader.
Yeah.
So I'm not too concerned about his recruiting prowess because he can have talent. You see that, and he can develop. You know what I mean?
Right. And I just want to make sure we definitely understand prior to Henson what O-line recruiting was. It was obviously bad.
Yeah.
I will say though, it would have been nice to have another Elijah type recruit being at the right tackle, in my opinion, right now.
We had two big O-line from
I just feel like we can get a couple more blue chips. I totally get the development side, and I see where some of these players are. I feel like we can go up a notch. I just feel like we're not there.
Would you guys really like? I'm looking at we've had some pretty good linemen before Josh Henson was here. Actually, I'm looking at our drafts that we had Elijah Vera Tucker going the first. We had Chuma Adoga going the first. We had who else was the first? Austin Jackson, who just got a pretty big payday with the Miami Dolphins. So I wouldn't say we've had horrible offensive lines before that. Like for the most part, we've had some pretty consistent offensive line being drafted, like Zach Banner. Granted, he was in the 4th round, but like it's been pretty consistent when it comes to offensive line. Andrew Voorhees should have been like a top 2 rounds.
2 at least, I think. Top 2 rounds.
So the Ravens really got to steal with him.
Yeah, I mean,
really quick, I want to throw this, put this comment up here. This is kind of a hot take here. Money, muscling, entertainment, Fed talk. I want Maeva to start at QB. I would say that's a kind of a hot take, right?
If you want to call that take, I mean, that's just his wants. Listen, I'm more experienced than Moss, but that's about it.
Yeah, he's more experienced, and has more games. But is he more experienced in Riley's offense? No. But yeah, this definitely will be I don't know if he will let him go if we have the same type of offensive line struggles this year, but a lot of people are not going to be happy. Let's see.
Yep. So, all right, let's move on. What's the next storyline?
What will be the next storyline? What did we talk about after that?
Practice style.
How is Lincoln Riley legitimately going to be buying into being a physical defense when it comes to practicing? Will Lincoln Riley actually practice physically? What do you guys think? Do you think he actually does take or let D'Anton Lynn run the defensive side and actually allow them to tackle, be physical?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't see why he would not. He brought the guy in to not let him do his thing.
True.
From all interviews that we heard, there's no reason to believe that he's not going to let D'Anton Lynn do what D'Anton Lynn does. So.
And do we have the depth to do that though?
What's that?
Do we have the depth to do that? To be able to be physical and not have to worry about injuries that could cause season-ending injuries that we end up having to start converting players to different positions.
We can't live like that no more, man.
True, we can't.
No more. Yeah, it's football. Injuries happen.
Yeah.
And we're deep, man. We're about 5 deep at every position. I mean, some guys are a lot younger than others, but we're deep, man. If you look at we went through the position groups. We're stacked at almost every position.
The only one that we're not stacked at is quarterback.
Kicker's not stacked.
We have our 6-star kicker.
But yeah, going to the question about being physical. I mean, to me, even Coach Henney seems like a guy if Lincoln's is come springtime or even fall camp, he's like, all right, guys, I'm running the show. We ain't doing no physical practices. Coach Henney's leaving. Coach Henney is walking out of those doors, putting the deuces up, and he's calling Sean McVay and he's asking, or Raheem Morris, and he's asking, hey, let me get my job.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Lincoln's fully aware of the criticism about him, as you can tell by about how he's been hired. He knows that everyone's saying his teams are soft. And has been since the Oklahoma days. You know what I mean? He's aware of all that. There's all reason to believe that he's trying to shed that image. So there's only one way to do that.
Do the exact opposite of what he's been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lincoln Riley said he's tired of all the crap. He said, I'm done being soft on the defensive side. It wasn't me. It was the other guy.
Right.
I'm done pretending that I'm at Oklahoma still. Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. Like, I think he will allow I think he'll give them everything that they need to be successful. So I'm not worried about it at all. It's just, that's what people are going to be saying, that Lincoln Riley is not going to allow people to be physical, and he doesn't know defense. I keep getting, every time, I would get notifications in my YouTube comments or whatever about something, me talking about how Lincoln Riley is changing up his focus when it comes to defense, that we're going to be physical, and everyone just I'd get messages 3 weeks later. Lincoln Riley doesn't know what physical means. Shut up, people! You really gonna comment on something that's a month old? Just stop at this point.
So,
all right. Next story: quarterback battles. Is this a legit battle, or is this where does Mayava have the upper hand on for Miller Moss for him to be able to win this battle?
The only upper hand that he has is his mobility.
Yeah, I mean, he has two upper hands in my opinion. He's got the mobility and then in-game experience.
Right.
He has those, and I do think it's going to be a real competition. I don't think Lincoln Riley's going to give him the job, being that Miller Moss wasn't the starter the previous year, so he's going to look into this and let the best man win. But ultimately, my money will be on Miller Moss, in my opinion, being that he's done it the right way, like it was done in the old days, where you sit and wait for your turn. You learn from the people that are in front of you. In this case, a Heisman quarterback. So I think Miller Moss is ready, and he's gonna shock the world next year. And he's gonna play with a chip in his shoulder because he's getting disrespected, putting freshman quarterbacks in front of him on the top 25 list, or what was that, B. Jones, you showed us? But yeah, it's disrespectful.
So disrespectful.
Yeah, I mean,
Miller, if you catch this episode, man, go ahead and print that out, hang it in your locker, put it on your server, your laptop, man. Every time you in class, you see that. Whatever you got to do, man. It's the disrespect. Miller has been getting disrespected all summer.
If I see Miller Moss, I'm gonna show him the rankings, be like, look, Miller Moss, disrespectful.
Right.
Don't prove him wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is one of the storylines I'm excited about. It's definitely a QB battle. I mean, Maeva's got he's got a shot, right? I mean, pretty sure I don't think any of us thought he was going to bring in Caleb Williams that season after Spencer Rattler. Everyone probably thought Caleb was probably going to sit, and then ideally Spencer would leave probably or something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, if he shows what he's got in practice, Lincoln will make the call. But it's Miller time though, unfortunately for Georgia.
My question is, how would you feel if it's announced that Mayava is the starter?
I'll be okay with it. I feel comfortable with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
If he gets hurt, Miller's in. Boom.
How do you think the rest of the Trojan fans will feel? Because it's pretty much in the USC community, it's pretty much Miller or nothing for what a lot of people feel.
I mean, yeah, people think, including myself, I think Miller Moss is going to come out on top. But if Mayama is named the QB or the starter, I just think that he just proves that he's the real deal, because I personally think Miller Moss is an exceptional quarterback, and he's going to, show out this year. And if he does end up beating him, that just shows that the skill set that Mayava has. And he was an underrated high school quarterback, right, when he got recruited.
What do you see? What do you see Miller Moss doing? I think he would stay, but it'd be very interesting to see how things turn out if he does find himself not the starter.
I think
I don't think he leaves.
Yeah, I think he stays, and if he does leave, he'll wait till the end of the season and play for
This is his final year, or does he have 2 more years?
No, he has 2 more years.
He does have a year after this if he wants to.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean he has this year and then a year like COVID year, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, you could use that basically. Yeah.
I mean, he probably could he could leave in all essence because he is he would be a grad transfer, so
Yeah.
he doesn't have to wait for the portal to open.
Yep.
But no, I still see him winning it. Like I like. There's way too many advantages that he has going for him at this point. I feel like he has more like for everything that Jaden Mayava has. It's his mobility and his experience with live college games. But Miller, he has the team behind him for the most part. They've all bought into him. He's their quarterback based off the locker room. Then he also has why?
It's my team.
But then he also has the connection. What are you doing over there?
Hey, breaking news! The Bears
Yeah.
traded for Keenan Allen for a
Yeah,
first
breaking
rounder.
news. Yeah, wow.
Oh,
So they're putting in wide receivers for Caleb. So I like the trade.
I do. Yeah.
yeah, but then also he has the connections with the wide receivers. He's been thrown to all of these wide receivers pretty much all season. So yeah, I just think his advantages are a little bit more prominent than Jaden's, but we'll see.
And that's exactly why I said what I said, man. Like if Jaden Mayava wins the competition, you can't be mad at that because Miller has every advantage, and if he's able to beat out Miller Moss for that position, then this guy must be the real deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, let me know. All right, what's the next one, man? There was a few more, like Chad.
Didn't you guys say about the transfer linebacker? I kind of remember you guys bringing that up. No, maybe Mascarenas or whatever. You guys weren't going to say something about him? No?
His vlog that he did on his channel.
All right, you can hit the pause button. I'll just be quiet on my end.
Yeah, you lost with that one. But
I'm lost in the sauce right now.
it was, we all lost in the sauce there. We can't think of the rest of the. Thank you, Chad.
I don't know why it's escaping me at this point. Let's see what we're thinking. I can't remember it off the top of my head at this point.
Well, there's plenty of position battles. We know that.
There's definitely a lot of position battles to be had to be able to watch. Let's see.
Or one storyline is we got that Coach Dog, right?
Yeah.
The I heard he's gonna be similar to, or from what I saw, that he's similar to what's his name?
Be honest.
The other D-bag, I think that's what his Twitter handle is, or can't think of his name right now. The recruiter, like the head of recruiting, or
Coach Dog. Coach Dog.
Yeah, we're talking about Coach Dog right now.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think we did.
No, I don't think we're talking about Coach Dog yet.
Then who you been talking about the last 2 minutes?
What?
Last 2 minutes? Not Coach Dog, I don't think, dude.
All right.
All right, what's
Gavin
going
Morris. Gavin Morris. That's what I'm talking. Right.
Gavin Morris.
That's what I'm. Gavin Morris. But I'm saying we hired Coach Dog, and I just literally brought him up. It wasn't 2 minutes ago, B. Jones. It was literally like 30 seconds prior.
2 minutes ago, though. I'm like, wait, where are you going with this? You lost me, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, Coach Dog. I mean, coming from Tennessee, sounds like he's a recruiter guy. He's got connection, knows people. He's like a Gavin Morris type. You could say. So excited about that. He's been around the SEC, kind of knows what to do in terms of how they do things. So bring some of his those
Another
ways to improve us. Yeah, exactly. The Polynesian thing is a huge thing as well, I believe.
And yeah, man, he's pretty connected, man. Former Utah player, who played D-line at Utah.
Where did they announce this?
So
USC did not announce anything yet, or I don't think they will, but he announced it himself.
Right. Man, so we got good work and Coach Dog, man. So we should be doing all right, man, in the trenches.
Yeah, and then USC priority saying that he has connections to the Gorman O-line. So that'll be huge. That'll be big.
Henson better get all over that, man.
Yeah, this is kind of what I'm saying. I mean, not go back to this whole line. It's just like they're 4 or 5 hours away. It's just like, can we? I don't know, like
45
I
minutes.
just feel like, and this is more talking in general now. It just seems like we're not pressing on these kids a lot, like some of these other schools do, and it just seems like that is kind of the way to go with most of these kids. Continue to press on them, reach out to their coaches, just like continue to build. I don't know. It just seems like we're not as quick with that, I guess.
Yep. So that's exactly what we're saying, man. Exactly what we're saying. It's kind of alarming. You know what I mean? It's like it seems like we're dragging our feet when it comes to a lot of these O-line targets, man, or potential targets. At least the guys that we think. But like I said, also mentioned earlier, man, we don't see what's going on in practice. We the fans don't really know what we have as much as the coaches do. But to counter that, the coaches thought that way last year. So it's like, come on, man. It's like we just need some assurance, man. We can't afford to not be sure about our O-line. So even if you get another guy as a depth piece,
if we had the 2022 O-line last year, I still think we managed to pull off a good 10 wins because we lost very close wins or very close games last year. And that was the biggest difference from 2022 and 2023. It was just the O-line play.
Right.
I mean, the defense is the defense, and there's nothing you could have changed, but that O-line play definitely play a big factor.
Yeah, here's a good one that should start some good conversation. Should Lincoln do open practices like Pete Carroll did?
He should, but will he?
Being that there's no legislation in place as far as NIL, there's no rules. It's the Wild West right now. If you open practices, that may benefit USC a lot as far as donations.
Yeah. But see, the thing about it is, though, like, he's been doing this since Oklahoma. So I don't see why he would decide to change.
It's not mentioned.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're at a different tier.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I mean, he should do open practices for like certain particular individuals, not just to the public. I guess because of that reason that Anthony James just mentioned, but he should definitely open practices for like certain special individuals, like boosters and stuff like that. Get them motivated and hyped for the season and start, working towards that NIL.
Yeah, I definitely think they should do that. I get both sides of the open practice. I know Nick Saban, right, one of the goats of coaching, he never did open practices. So, right, I mean, it's just there's always a good thing with not opening, and there's a good thing with opening as well, right? So
we were just so used to it always being open and always seeing all the updates and seeing who was injured and who was doing really well, like all the highlights of all the practices. So we've just been kind of like we've been spoiled with that. So the moment that we can't see it, we're like, damn it. Like we're all upset about it. But hey, he does it for a reason. I don't know if he's ever mentioned why he does it, or why he closes off, but it sucks. But I see why he does it.
Yeah, but like UFC probably already mentioned, man, social media. In
Yeah.
These days. Yeah, it's back in Pete Carroll days, there was no social media like that, so we didn't have those issues as far as open practice. But yeah, our whole playbook would be leaked all over the internet, man. If we decide to do that.
Do you think he's going to move Competition Friday to Competition Tuesday? A lot of people are talking about it in the chat right now about Competition Tuesday. I could see them like having that kind of that kind of specific day, just moving into Tuesday. So because Fridays are for the most part walkthroughs.
Yeah, I would say you definitely got to do it on Friday during the season.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope they keep the competition thing going.
Yeah, because it's definitely you could see the passion that the players are having right now with in those videos that they keep posting. And for some reason, they always find Jacoby Lane. Like he's in always at the either beginning of it or the very end of those videos. Jacoby just likes to be on camera too, so. Yeah, we'll definitely see. I don't see him changing his stance on open practices anytime soon, unless there's someone forces him, like Mama Jen, to force him to do that. So I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah, no, me either. But if it was to happen, it would be for the reasons that I mentioned in my initial take on that one. Yeah.
For those,
has any of the donors or anyone else higher up in USC complained about it? That's the question.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess
there were some donors that actually I do know. There were some donors that kind of voiced their opinion on that. They were a little disgruntled because they couldn't come watch. Like, okay, you want me to pay all my money, but I can't come in to watch. There's a few.
Are they big donors to make a difference?
Yeah.
Hey, Lincoln Riley should tell them, hey, if you want access, you got to put in at least $3 million for NIL, and we'll open up the gates for you. Until then, don't say anything. Hey, but to the people in the chat and then whoever watches this episode later down the line, Arnold Mascarena's put up a vlog if you guys want to see some behind the scenes stuff that happens. Day in the life of a USC football player. I was watching it. It was pretty cool to watch. So Arnold, if you see this, come join us on one of the podcasts one of these days. And if you can't join
Prophet Brown does one too as well. I don't know if he does a vlog, but I know he does on Twitch. So it seems like some of the guys just in general are getting into the content space, which is cool.
We're just gonna have to ask for a chance to interview them.
Yep.
That'll be cool. And if you can't get interviewed by us, give us a shout out. We'll take that.
But okay, so before we get out of here, man, let me ask you guys one question. Everybody, all eyes on the quarterback battle, right? Even though one guy has an clear advantage over another. What is your second favorite, I guess you could say, position battle, or the one that's your second most that you have your eyes on?
For me, it'll be the linebacker group.
I'm gonna go with DBs, like safeties. Safeties has a lot of competition, and it's gonna be interesting to see how that turns out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go center. I need to understand what their decision is going to be so we can see the rest of this O line, man. Yeah, we need to know.
I'm nervous about that. I'm not excited.
Yeah, not excited, but nervous about that one. But
I'm excited for the DBs.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that was enough there. It finally clicked, Black and Chan. It came back to me. Another storyline that we were supposed to mention earlier is who do we think is going to shine that was previously may have been buried on the bench under the last regime, as far as the defensive side of the ball?
Who's gonna have a resurgence?
Yeah, so I can tell you right now, there's definitely going to be a few guys that were probably buried that should have been playing, and yeah, I'm pretty sure the first person that comes to mind is Rajon Davis.
Yeah, I was gonna say that for me. That's the guy. That's why I picked the linebacker group for me personally, because we got dogs in that group, and it's gonna be hard to pick. I don't know. We got Gentry, we got Cobb, we got Arnold, we got Rajon, and who else am I missing? I think we got someone else, right? We got
We have freshmen coming in, but we do know we're going to have a three-back line, three-back set, or three linebacker set.
He'll be packaged.
Yeah, depending on the offensive package.
Yeah, well, did you guys see his interview with? Yeah. So let's see the linebacker group right now. So we have Rajon, Mason, Gentry, Chris Thompson, and then the transfers Arnold, and then the freshmen. So
Beavers wouldn't surprise me, man. I mean, I've always liked him every time he's got some limited time when someone's got hurt. I mean, that safety room is so deep, so it's probably could be hard, but I mean, man, I think that will show even a lot more if he were to, come up top.
Exactly. We got J-Rock, who was arguably our best player on the defense last year. And we got
J-Rock?
We got, I'm sorry?
J-Rock?
James Smith.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We're loaded, man. We got up-and-comers that we know will be great. It's just a matter of when, like Christian Pierce. That's the guy I got my eyes on as well this spring. So it's man, there's gonna be some good competition, man, spring. I hope they keep the competition up, man. I hope they really battle it out, man. It's only gonna improve the team.
What about the tight end position though? Do you think Walter Matthews or even Walker Lyon, we haven't seen Walker Lyon at all since he was on his mission. So do you think he can take over for Lake McCree?
So that's the thing. It can go either way because he still has to get acclimated, right?
Yeah.
To the speed of college football. So it's,
And then we also have the converted linebacker.
Yep. Well, we got Tabarashi, who's more of a he did his thing. He did some good stuff, man, in the ball game, man. So yeah, if I was to start the season now, that would be my starter. But you also got guys like Walter Matthews, who, like I said, previous guys, man, it's just a matter of when for him. That dude's that dude's gonna be a star. You know what I mean? But if you look at our tight end room, man, everyone has a specific skill set.
Did Chris Thompson transfer out?
Yeah, for the linebackers, yeah.
Okay. Well, then we don't have him.
No worries.
So yeah, if you look at our tight ends, man, they each have a specific skill set different from each other. So it's we might see packages with this tight end and another package with another. You know what I mean? So it might be a lot of rotation in that tight end room.
Yeah,
it's definitely an exciting room. I mean, young, but some highly talented kids.
Yep. Story of our whole roster right now.
Yeah, a lot of talent. We just got this is the most that we've been a lot of these positions are open. It's been a while since we've had this many open positions. For the most part, the safety position was always Kalen Bullock. Quarterback was Caleb. Linebackers hasn't really been the most steady for us, but wide receivers have been pretty steady. This year's we kind of know who our wide receivers are going to be for the most part, but We have running backs that we're pretty sure Woody Marks is going to be the starter, but we have Quentin Joyner. And do you think they might look for another back?
Oh, it's kind of hard to say, man. I like what we have, but of course, we're young.
We have
And
4 backs right now.
yeah, more backs right now. So somebody ready to transfer out if we did. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Unless we get another grad transfer running back or a senior.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you guys kept up with Deuce Robinson with him being a dual sport athlete with the baseball team?
Guns keeps up with that more than anything, I feel like.
But
Yeah, he hasn't been playing much, but he's been doing baseball and still doing kind of football workouts.
That's
So
what I
it
was going
sounds
to ask. Like,
Yeah.
how is he getting impacted with the football workouts? Like
From what Lincoln said a couple weeks ago, didn't sound like it was bad. Maybe 1 or 2 missed workouts or whatever, but it sounded like they had a good structure in terms of what's going on. But you can kind of tell just from a baseball perspective, there's other players starting to play a little bit more ahead of him. So it seems like he's just slowly kind of fading away a little bit. Not in a bad way. I think it's just maybe because it's football as well. So how it is.
I think eventually he'll be all football.
Yeah, just like how Drake London started with basketball for a little bit, and then he just completely focused on his bread and butter.
Yeah,
What position does Deuce play in baseball?
I think he's outfield, right? He's a right fielder.
Yeah, left field.
Right? Or
left. Yeah, they played him left field. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got his first hit in Texas when they faced TCU or Texas A&M. I forget which one it was, but
I think it was TCU.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean they're slowly starting to play better. Just in general, it's just unfortunately the starting pitching is just not where it's at right now compared to last year. So I mean, yeah, if your starters are giving up runs, it's hard to always come back and win. So, but Austin's starting to get better. He was on a big slump.
Yeah, man. It seems like all our sports teams seem to be starting out the same this year.
Except for the women's basketball.
And then I guess keeping it with the wide receiver group, a few of our trojans got paid. A few wide receivers got paid recently.
Yeah. Amon-Ra got a nice paycheck, and then Michael Pittman just got one. We'll see how Drake London does with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, whoever Kirk Cousins' agent is, I want him to negotiate my next deal too.
Yeah, I think he's like the most paid quarterback in the last 10 years or something like that. So
I saw a post of that he made more money than Tom Brady in contracts. So he's the GOAT of contracts.
Well, Tom Brady doesn't really care about his money ever, really. He always takes pay cuts.
Yeah, till later in the year, obviously, which is warranted.
Yeah, I'm excited for Drake London though. Like he's finally gonna get a quarterback that can get him the ball.
Yeah.
Facts. My dynasty league looks a lot better now with him.
Cool. Anybody in the chat got anything before we get out of here? Anybody got anything that's intriguing to you as far as the spring as we head into spring camp?
He was a tight end in high school, but Lincoln Riley fully came out saying that he's going to be a wide receiver.
Yeah.
And it was really I would say the companies that kind of did. I've seen him a couple times in high school since he came out here in Arizona, and I mean he played mainly wide receiver, so I guess they just thought he was going to turn into a tight end
because of how big he is. Yeah, but I don't want to see him go trying to block a linebacker or defensive end or anything like that. I just want him streaking, going down the field. I just can't see him blocking at this point.
we better run block. That's true.
But at least he could post up. What is it called? A cornerback.
All right. Right on, Jay. Look, check it out.
All right.
Oh, we got new number alerts. We got new numbers.
Yeah.
I'm
not a huge fan of this number 0, guys. I gotta say.
Yeah, I was gonna say somebody switching to 0.
On both sides.
Yeah,
On both sides. Yeah.
Supposedly,
Deuce is gonna wear 0 on the offense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Supposedly, Anthony James maybe solo. Maybe solo is gonna be the 0.
Say what?
That's going to be interesting. I really am curious about, I guess, more of the defense now, since we kind of obviously know.
So Anthony James says, any true freshman breakthrough?
I would say the best chance is Xavier Jordan, in my opinion.
I think.
What about Walter Matthews, like you guys mentioned earlier?
Yeah, because that's not as stacked of a room. So I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
But I also just think that what's it called? Camera Fountain is just kind of too much of a freak to at least not make an impact.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with that pick either, man.
Like, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, we don't like the way that D'Anton Lynn uses the defensive end. He basically fits what he's looking for. So I wouldn't be surprised. But were you going to say, Roll?
I was going to say that not regarding freshmen, but it just sparked a thought in my head regarding Sam Green. Like, hopefully he can perform this year. Like, I think he's an underrated guy that can potentially surprise a few people this year.
Wait, Fountain's wearing 49 like Thule. I don't know why. I just think that's like an ugly number.
I agree. The 49ers is like ugly ass number, man.
But it just doesn't scream any type of position. Like, what position do you think of 49? Like, the 40s does not have like a good position. Like that.
I think of fullbacks for some reason. I guess when I think of any number in the 40s, I don't know why.
Maybe a long snapper. Like, it just doesn't.
A kicker, maybe.
Like 30s and 40s just don't have a good like reputation of like specific like skilled positions or anything like that. Like 70s, you think offensive line. 80s, you think wide receiver. 90s, defensive line. 50s, linebackers. 20s, running backs. Like 10 and between 10 and or like from 1 to like 19 or 18, you think quarterback. It just, what is 49? That's just like, those are throwaway numbers. No one ever wants those numbers.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
So, I hope he like Thule did a great job with that number. So I don't want to disrespect Thule, but we'll see. It's just a weird number. Yeah, Anthony James said get limit out of 24. Yeah, he's not a running back.
But we got quarterbacks wearing 33 at Ohio State, so.
But yeah, did he win that position though? No, he did not. And he's probably not going to win it this year either.
I saw him still wearing it in practice.
Yeah, that's just like you're.
I guess supposedly there was like a former quarterback wore that for for Ohio State. I guess that's kind of the reason, but still, 33 is just like, what are we doing? You're a quarterback.
Yeah. But all right, guys. Anything else?
That's got to do it for us.
I was just gonna say, stay tuned for Selection Sunday for women's tournament.
Yep.
So hopefully we don't get robbed. But, but yeah, that's gonna do it for us, man. We if you guys didn't catch the last episode, man, I encourage you to go check that out. We did our ultimate team, man. So we might come back at you with this Sunday to fill out the rest of that roster. What you guys think about that, fellas?
Yeah.
Oh, like the second string and all that stuff?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Interesting.
It'll still be a super.
That's gonna be
nice
real
team.
interesting.
Definitely not gonna be easy, man. If you guys didn't see
Hey,
last
Tayfaf, before I head out, where you been at, man? We need you in here.
Tayfaf was in the building.
Yep.
I feel like he is there at the beginning, but he just doesn't want to say anything until the end. You know, like he'll just watch, make sure, and then he's like, "All right."
Just lurking in the background.
Right.
Right on, fellas.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. We're gonna get out of here. Make sure you tune in Sunday for that second round of the Ultimate Team. Like and subscribe when you're up, and we're out of here. Bye.
Right on.